Hello, bright beings of light. Today is the White Magnetic Worldbridger, so we are starting a new wave spell cycle anchored in the energy of this archetype. I explain what wave spells are in the video The Structure of Wave Spells, and I also recommend you to watch the video The Structure of the Token for a deeper understanding of it. Also, you can watch the videos The 30 Lunar Tones and the 20 Solar Seals to learn more about the elements creating the matrix of the token. As mentioned in the previous video, Wave Spell of the Red Skywalker, we are in the White Northern Castle of Crossing, a 52-day cycle composed of 4 wave spells. For more information about castles and what they are, you can watch the video The 5 Destiny Castles. So I'm kind of excited to talk to you about this wave spell, the White Worldbridger being my main solar seal and also my guiding energy. This is how the wave spell of the White Worldbridger looks like, going through the 13 lunar tones and the archetypes associated with them up until the white cosmic mirror. The Worldbridger is the power of death. His Mayan name is Cimi, making death sound quite cute actually. But death is something frightening and a source of sorrow for many people. But actually, when we really look at it, death is something quite beautiful. And I know that for many people, hearing me say that death is beautiful, they're going to look at me as if I'm crazy. When I found out in 2013 that I was a white spectral worldbridger, the power of death, I was like, so that's why I have this fascination about death. My first experience with death, besides a few pets that died, was at 13 when my grandmother on my father's side passed away. I remember looking at her lifeless body in the church during the funeral, thinking and feeling that this is not my grandma. This is just her body, because I can feel her all around us in the room. In that moment, I felt with every cell of my being that death isn't the end. Death is so scary because we're so attached to the physical, to the material, to the body. So when the body dies, it seems like the end. But if we let our consciousness go beyond this material 3D reality, we understand that death is only a gateway. Just look at nature. Nature dies every autumn and comes back to life in the springtime. In nature, nothing ever truly dies. It's only transformed, so a rebirth can happen. It's the same with us humans. When we die, we don't just stop existing. We liberate ourselves from the body, so a new stage, a new chapter can begin in our journey. An amazing movie that I recommend on this topic is No Solar, a story about life after death. So ever since I was 13, I could never look at death in the same way. I was fascinated by it because every time someone would die, either a family member, a friend, or maybe someone I didn't even know that well, I would watch what happened to the people who are left behind. And what I noticed each time was how their lives were transformed, as if pieces of the person who died were now scattered into millions of little pieces, touching the lives of those they've met, as if a part of them was now living inside those people. I myself was transformed by the death of both my grandmothers, by the death of a friend, and by the death of a person who I briefly met on my travels, but who left such a big impact on me. And don't get me wrong, I can also cry and feel sad when I lose someone dear to me, but there's that sweetness in the bitterness and such a deep comfort feeling that their soul is still out there. The Worldbridger teaches us how to embrace the death of any cycle, a relationship, a job, a stage in our life, and to see this ending as the opportunity for a new chapter to begin. Which is why whenever the Worldbridger is present, his energy really supports us to let go of anything inside or outside of ourselves. So this wave spell is the perfect time to let go of what no longer serves us. The Worldbridger and the Skywalker, the archetype of the previous Wavespell, are actually complementary energies of one another. The Skywalker building the bridge between heaven and earth, and the Worldbridger crossing over to the other side, walking on that bridge. He takes us through a symbolic death in order to reveal the true self and dissolve all of the structures of the ego, which is why it can be a really intense and scary process. For the ego, this process feels just like dying, and it's going to hold on as hard as it can to keep us from going until the end of this process. The funny thing is that most of the time, he's actually going to hold on to the very things we are trying to let go of. In our past, a certain behavior, belief system, or pattern might have created a way for us to briefly feel better about ourselves and our situation, but the Worldbridger asks us to face the truth of our present situation and to examine if these belief system patterns or behaviors are still necessary, or if they've transformed into something that keeps us from connecting with the will of our higher self. Because that's what the Worldbridger is trying to do, to reconnect us with the higher self. He takes us on a journey of purification of our physical, mental, and emotional bodies in order to surrender to the wisdom of the higher self and the universe. Something interesting that I've noticed, and I also had this perception, where many people associate surrendering with giving up, but actually it's the opposite of giving up. Surrender is freedom. It liberates us from the desire to be in control, letting go of how we think we or the world should be, and accepting the way things are. He teaches us that control is only an illusion. We cannot control what is happening with our egotistical willpower. What we can control is how we react to what is happening, and that's where our true power comes from. In the shadows, the Worldbridger struggles to let go of basically everything, memories, emotions, beliefs, mental illusions, addictions, attachments, people, job situations, control. Therefore, the ego can also reveal to us what are the things it's most difficult for us to let go of. Once our ego has built an identity for itself based upon our personality or our life, letting go of those things which we have become identified with can feel exactly like dying. If we are too identified with our incarnated form, our body, our personality, or our career, we can develop this fear of dying. And in our culture, we have pretty much destroyed this perception that reveals the spiritual teachings found inside each difficult experience or loss, and therefore we are afraid of death and change as a culture. It's really connected to the whole fear of the unknown. Just as death, the future is unknown, and change always asks us to step into the unknown. But within the struggles and challenges within the unknown, there are actually beautiful gifts to be found that reveal new ways through which we can understand our reality. But as a result of all the difficult experiences we might go through in our life, if we don't have this ability of finding the gifts within the struggles, we can end up losing our faith and trust in the universe and other people. We feel as if we need to do everything in order to get what we want and not have to rely on other people. So we try to build a life that allows us to be in control, or better said, that gives us the impression that we are in control. And rather than trying to control how we react to a situation, we try to control the outside context of that situation. This is where manipulation or emotional blackmail and all sorts of power games come into play. And to make things clear, we are in control of our situation in the sense that based on how much inner work we have done and how many unconscious patterns we have healed, we can indeed consciously manifest the reality we wish. But if we haven't done the inner work, we're going to keep attracting situations, experiences, and people that make us feel helpless and powerless, as if we are the victims, failing to see that we are actually the creators of our life. I explain more about this in the video, The Wavespell of the Red Dragon, that is actually part of the same family as the White Worldbridger, the Cardinal Family. And if you're not sure what Earth families are, you can watch the videos The Earth Families and The Earth Families Part 2. The last 2 years have revealed to me how much of a control freak I've actually become through all my painful and disappointing experiences where I kind of lost trust in people and the universe. And this was actually the inner work that I was avoiding to do that I mentioned in the video about the Red Skywalker. Trust is one of the wounds of my soul, coming from this life and also past life betrayals, and learning how to trust people once again was so difficult for me. But this is where surrender and faith come in the picture. Through faith, we can dissolve the need to be in control, we can surrender in the arms of the universe, and we can navigate all the difficult situations that we might go through. It's the way through which we can find true inner peace, the only way we can start trusting the universe and other people once again. Also, the Worldbridger is a lot about forgiveness. He asks us to forgive ourselves for not knowing better, for being afraid, for making bad decisions, for not loving ourselves enough, for not being more gentle with ourselves. And also, he asks us to forgive others, to forgive those who have harmed us, those who made us feel small and unworthy, those who have betrayed us. And through the power of forgiveness, the Worldbridger can face all of his resistances and shed the layers of the false self in order to be renewed, rising from the ashes just like a phoenix. He takes us on a journey beyond beliefs and limitations in order to attune the wishes of our ego to the wishes of our soul. In the shadow, the Worldbridger will block the connection to the soul through the mental body because he knows that the higher self will bring a lot of changes in our life and personality, and if he's afraid of death and change, the ego will try to avoid this at all costs. Fortunately, sooner or later, the soul will destroy all the inner boundaries that limit its freedom because the soul can't survive in a cage. And in truth, whenever we limit ourselves, we are actually fighting with our own soul. The Worldbridger helps us understand and feel that everything is all right as it is, so we can live a more inspired and fulfilled life in the present moment. When we accept the way things are, we are free to move forward. In this way, change and growth become something easy and natural. After all, change is the only constant in this universe, and no matter how things might appear to be from our ego's perspective, they only serve our evolution and growth, and they are meant to help us walk on our spiritual path. So, during these 13 days, take the time to contemplate the notion of death. In Tibetan Buddhist tradition, it's considered wise to contemplate every day that we are going to die, because this makes us more awake and alive in every moment of our life. So ask yourself, what is this archetype asking you to let go of? What are the things that you are holding on to due to the fears of your ego? Are you afraid of death and change? Why? Are you struggling to let go? Why? Do you feel the need to be in control? How can you release that and start having more faith and trust in yourself and the world around you? Can you find the hidden gifts within the difficulties of life? Are you able to forgive? And I mean truly forgive yourself or others. What are the things it's hard for you to forgive and why? What can you do to truly surrender and allow the universe to nurture and support you on your journey? So for any questions that you might have about the Dreamspell calendar, or if you're interested in understanding more about your kin through a galactic signature decoding session, send me a message either on my Facebook page or on my email. And letting you know that I'll be doing another online workshop dedicated to understanding the 13 lunar tones and the 20 solar seals, so you can better understand and interpret their meaning, so you can better understand yourself and also to understand other people around you. It'll be starting on the 27th of November, Kin 88, and it will be extended over 3 weekends, 3.5 hours per day. Registration is needed in order to participate, so make sure you send me an email in order to save your spot. wishing you a liberating wave spell, and I will see you on the Blue Magnetic Store in Lak'Ech.